Welcome back to Recap Central. Today I'm going to explain a science fiction movie called Downsizing. Spoilers ahead. Subscribe for more videos like this. At Edvardsen Institute in Norway, Dr. Jargon and his colleague are very excited about a project that has been successful. They hug in excitement. 5 years later, Andreas is presenting his project to the people in a convention. He places a box in the podium. He then gives a speech about global warming and the scarcity of food and water it causes. He goes on to say that his project will not only solve global warming but all scarcity of resources. According to him, this is the only humane solution to humanity's gravest problems. He then reveals what is inside the box. The audience gasps as they see a tiny Dr. Jargon inside the box. He appears normal, just smaller in size. No one can believe their eyes and many start recording. Jargon asks them to take a seat. A small mic is in front of him and he starts speaking. He says that 5 years ago he and his team developed a procedure to reduce organic materials. This is the process that made him so small. They tested this procedure in many plant and animals. It has no side effects, but it's not reversible. 36 other people joined the doctor and they have been living as tiny people ever since. They need to remove dental and other prostheses, becoming fully functioning 1 hour after the procedure. They bring out the 36 volunteers. They have been living in the world's first micro-colony for 4 years. Some of them even have babies. The whole audience claps in admiration. This becomes the biggest innovation in human history. People all over the world watch as they advertise the discovery. They encourage everyone to go minuscule to save the planet. Paul Safranek is watching the advertisements. He goes home to his sick mother. She is all Paul has left. She complains about the downsizing program, saying the same effort should be put into curing her illness. 10 years later, Paul's mom has long since passed. Paul is now an occupational therapist. He is married to Audrey. They have financial problems and they have to relocate to a new house. Over the years, the downsizing program has become more popular, with several mini colonies established over the world. 3% of the population has been downsized. Paul and his wife go to their high school reunion. There they see 2 old friends, Dave and Carol, who have downsized. Later, at a friend's house, they boast it has been the best decision of their life. They live in a colony in New Mexico called Leisureland. Paul praises him for caring about the environment. But Dave reveals he did it for the money. After downsizing, expenses reduced by 90%. The couple used to be broke before, but now they are going on a trip to Italy and live in a big mansion. Interested in the miniature life, Paul and Audrey go to a convention in Leisureland. There, a downsized man explains the benefits of downsizing. He shows them a beautiful mansion. Inside, a woman boasts about her diamond jewelry that only costed $83. Paul and Audrey are fascinated with the miniature life. They watch over the colony and decide they will downsize too. An agent explains their $152,000 savings are $12 million after downsizing. They sell everything they own. Later that day, they meet all their friends and family who wish them goodbye. The next day, they drive to Leisureland to downsize. However, Audrey seems doubtful. The two get separated in the waiting room. Paul is taken first for the procedure. They are told they will meet after they are downsized. Hair and eyebrows are shaven as those can't downsize. Paul is sedated to trim all the hair on his body. Everyone's fillings are taken out. They are taken into the downsizing hall. After a while, they open the door and we see everyone has been downsized. They get scooped up and placed in a small bed. Their cavities get filled again. After that, the procedure is over. Paul wakes up in a waiting room. A nurse greets him and gives him a huge cracker as a gift. He asks, "Where is Audrey?" So the nurse goes look for her. She brings back a phone. Audrey is on the other end. She frantically tells Paul they shaved her hair and eyebrows. We see her with no hair and only one brow at the airport. Paul is astounded. Audrey run away at the last moment. They yell at each other over the phone. Paul is now alone in the miniature city. He goes to his mansion, but he has to live alone. A year later, Paul is divorced and lives in an apartment. He expected an easy life, but the divorce took half his money. He works in a call center and is dating a girl named Kristen. They are having dinner together when the upstairs neighbor Dusan comes to tell that he is having a party. Paul and Kristen break up. So he decides to go to the party. He has the time of his life. He kisses a random girl and accepts a pill from her. The drug takes effect and he parties all night. The next morning he wakes under a table in Dewson's apartment. One of the cleaners is limping and catches his eye as he is an occupational therapist. He asks her to sit down and helps her with her prosthetic leg. He recognizes her as Ngoc Lan Tran, a Vietnamese political activist that was imprisoned and downsized against her will. Her story was broadcasted worldwide, but it eventually died down. Lan Tran takes Paul to her neighborhood to check the people there. The place she lives in is extremely poor, even tough they are miniatures. Paul is trying to fix Lan Tran's leg, but he accidentally breaks it. As a result, Tran makes him sew her cleaning work until her new prosthetic leg arrives. Paul goes to work with her every day and he does her cleaning work. They collect the leftover food from the people they work for and bring it back to Tran's community and distribute it among the poor. Paul sees Tran as good. Even tough she herself suffers, she doesn't forget about her community. One day she has to clean at Dewson's place. Dewson sees Paul and makes fun of him. Paul tells him he has to do this for another month. Dewson offers him a chance to get away by going with him to Norway. Tran insists she wants to go too, as Dr. Jargon called her. He wants to meet her because of her heroic protest in Vietnam. The boys almost don't believe her, but they eventually go to Norway. A few days later they are on Dewson's yacht. They come across the doctor and his wife on their own yacht. Jargon apologizes to Tran as his discovery was used for the wrong purpose on her. He explains a methane release in Antarctica that will exterminate humans in 100 years. The downsizing was created to avoid this. But only 3% of the population is downsized. Dr. Jargon is devastated, his creation was too late. The damage is now irreversible. Later Paul checks Tran's leg, one thing leads to another and they have sex. The next day they reach the colony. There they have built a large vault to insulate the colony in case of an extinction. The whole village plan to go inside the vault the next day. Inspired by Jargon's words, Paul decides to go with them. Tran asks him to come back with her, but he denies. Dewson and his friend are also going home. The next day Tran asks Paul if he had sex with her because he pities her. He says he cares about her, but the vault gives his life purpose. The time comes and Paul goes into the vault, while his 3 friends wait outside. But he changes his mind halfway through. He likes Tran too much to go into the vault. He comes back and they hug. They return to Leisure Land. There Paul and Tran live together, helping the people of the slums.